Schneider CA1. This was the very first tank designed by the French. It had a boxy body and a short gun that often struggled with rough terrain.
Stam. This design had a very long nose that made it prone to getting stuck. It carried a powerful 75mm gun, but lacked good mobility.
CM1A. This was a heavy prototype that paved the way for even larger designs. It was well armed for its time but never saw real combat.
Then Char 2C. This was an absolute giant. It remains the largest operational tank ever made.
Next up, Interwar Period 1919 to 1939.
Renault 9995. This was a fast prototype designed for scouting. It eventually led to the development of several successful cavalry tanks.
Next, Char D1. This served as a solid infantry support tank in the early 30s. It was slow but had decent armor for that era. AMR-33. This was built for speed. It was a light scout tank meant to keep up with fast-moving cavalry units across the battlefield.
AMC-34. This was designed for combat roles within the cavalry. It had a bit more firepower than the scouting versions, but had a short career.
This was a heavy hitter with a 75mm gun in the hull. It was one of the most powerful tanks in the world when it was built.
The next one, Renault R35. This became the most common infantry tank of the late 30s.
H35. This was a light tank used by both infantry and cavalry. It was known for its cast armor hull, which was quite advanced for the time.
AMR-35. This was a much faster and more reliable scout tank. It was designed to provide reconnaissance for mechanized divisions. Then AMC-35. This version focused on anti-tank capability for the cavalry. It featured a better gun and a two-man turret for better efficiency.
Char D2. This was an improved version of earlier infantry tanks. It had thicker armor and a better turret, but suffered from mechanical issues.
Chamond DP2. This was an experimental light tank project. It tested out a new type of suspension, but never made it to the assembly line.
Now this is the Char B1 BIS. This upgraded beast was a nightmare for enemy crews in 1940. H39. This was an upgraded version of the earlier light tanks. It had a more powerful engine and a longer, more effective gun.
Next, Char G1P. This was part of a project to create a modern medium tank. It featured a high
Renault R40. This was an update to the infantry tank series with a new suspension. It was meant to handle rough terrain much better than its predecessor.
Samurua S40. This was intended to be the successor to the famous S35. It featured a simpler hull design and improved production methods.
Up next, Char B1. This was the final planned evolution of the heavy tank series. It had even thicker armor and extra room for a fifth crew member.
Up next.
AMX M4. This was an early design for a post-war heavy tank. It was meant to compete with the heavy armor developed by the Soviet Union.
Up next, AMX 5100. This featured a massive oscillating turret and an autoloader. It was surprisingly fast for such a large and heavy machine.
AMX-13. This became one of the most successful light tanks ever built. Its oscillating turret and small size made it perfect for export.
The next one, Lorraine 40. This was a fast and mobile support tank. It focused on speed and firepower over armor using a powerful 100mm gun.
The Murawa SM. This was a prototype heavy tank built to compete with the AMX-50. It used a more traditional suspension, but shared similar turret tech. Miete AMX-5120. This was the final of the heavy tank series.
CA1. This was a tiny and low-profile tank destroyer. It was so small that the driver had to sit inside the turret itself.
Even 30. This ultralight vehicle was armed with two 30mm autoc cannons. It was designed to be easily transported by air.
Even 90. This version of the tiny chassis squeezed in a large 90mm gun. It was a true glass cannon but relied on its tiny size to survive.
AMX-50 Serbs. This was the final attempt to make the heavy tank more viable. It had a lower profile to make it a harder target for enemies.
AMX-30. This was the main battle tank for the French army for decades. It chose speed and a great gun over heavy armor plating.
AMX-32. This was an improved version of the standard main battle tank. It featured better fire control systems and was offered for export. Next, AMX-40. This was a modern main battle tank designed in the 80s. It featured advanced armor and a powerful 120mm smoothbore gun.
AMX-30B2. This modernized version featured improved electronics and a better transmission. It served with distinction during the Gulf War.
This is one of the most advanced main battle tanks in the world. It uses an autoloader and has incredible acceleration.
Leclerc XLR. This is the latest upgrade to the modern French main battle tank. It features better protection against mines and urban threats.